Hey guys.
Hey guys.
Here you go.
What you got?
Your donuts?
You do?
Absolutely.
Wow, thank you. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. I didn't bring any napkins, but.
Oh,
Watch out, guys. I didn't do that.
that was not us. Have you know?
Whoa! You might be able to pull that off.
Yeah, Sabbath, you guys, Sabbath. Hey, give me those donuts back. Give me those donuts back. You guys are trying to kill us here.
How's it going? Want a donut? That was
You know the funny. I think it might have been my mental ability.
I think those vitamin things you're taking work.
Because I was looking at that sign and I was going, you know what? Maybe we can help these guys next year, and I'll bring a machete out. And
Well, I don't think this is our.
and we'll chop some of this down or something, and then all of a
We're
sudden.
trying to figure out where the property line is.
We know it's right there.
Well, yeah, we know that.
Wow. I think I might have brought that branch down. That's pretty awesome mental ability.
That doesn't happen every day. It's a good thing you parked there.
Yeah. Okay, boys.
Hey, thank
Enjoy
you
your
very
time
much.
out here.
Anyways,
Just
I was thinking though that actually that tree is kind of blocking your sign.
Yeah.
You might want to chop it.
Just appreciate if you don't hassle the members or especially the employees.
Absolutely.
Okay? I appreciate it. Thanks.
That hasn't happened yet, right?
Nobody's
No,
nobody's
Okay, great.
complaining
I'm just
about
making
it.
sure. Okay. We're trying to be nice to the staff, actually. Okay. Well, I appreciate the donuts. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Bohemian Grove Donuts.
I'm probably good. It's the Safeway donuts. It can't be that bad. I mean, a little bit of cyanide powder in the sugar.
sorry, but
Probably some high
actually-
fructose corn syrup. Nothing too big.
You know, this is not a waste of time. You know, and for anyone to say that, more often than not, those people, the naysayers, are the people that never take action and just sit in their living room watching Fox and Friends all day thinking that, you know, that's their salvation.
Or CNN.
Or CNN.
So a lot of the staff here looks actually to be new this year, because I was actually talking to some of them, and they were coming in for their first time to do wait staff and get all the tables ready and everything.
Oh, those guys have already came in.
They come in early in the morning and they leave a little bit, and they come back later after lunch, right? Because everything's already set up and
Dressed in red?
dressed in red and white and black. It depends on what kind of service they're performing, whether it's meat server, not that kind of service. Meat okay.
server. Okay.
Yeah, that didn't really help. They're serving up a lot of sauces.
That must be red.
Roast beef, or whatever they're serving.
Filet mignon.
Potatoes or whatever else they're serving is my point here. And then, and then some of the staff was actually, I think, a lot happier, a lot friendlier today. They seemed to, some of them were talking to us, not about stuff that was inside. I think a lot of them were just serving food and stuff and maybe changing chairs around and stuff.
Yeah, let's film them.
Do they like to be filmed?
Get those cameras rolling, boys.
Oh, hey guys.
Hey guys,
Here we go. We have
what
some
you got
extra
here?
Donuts.
You do?
Absolutely.
Wow,
Very
thank
nice.
you. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. I didn't bring any napkins, but.
You guys staying cool?
Okay, guys, I
Whoa.
didn't do that.
That was not us.
Okay,
Whoa.
a tree limb just
Might be
broke
able to
right
pull that
behind
off.
us.
Yeah, Sabbath, you guys, Sabbath, hey, give me those donuts back. Give me those donuts back. You guys trying to kill us here.
How's it going, sir?
Well, the funny, I think it might have been my mental
Jeez,
ability.
I think those vitamin things you're taking work.
Because I was looking at that sign and I was going, you know what? Maybe we
It's
can
pretty
help these
weird.
guys next year, and I'll bring a machete out and
Well, I
we'll,
don't think this is our.
chop some of this down or something, and then all
That's
of a
what we were
sudden-
trying to figure out, where the property line is
right
actually.
there.
That's
we know
okay.
that.
Okay. Oh well.
Wow. I think I might have brought that branch down. That's pretty awesome mental ability.
That doesn't happen every day. It's a good thing you parked there.
Yeah. Okay, boys.
Hey, thank you very much.
Anyways,
Just
I was thinking though that actually that tree is kind of blocking your sign.
Yeah.
You might want to chop it.
Just appreciate if you don't hassle the members or especially the employees.
Absolutely.
Okay, I appreciate it.
Thank
Thanks.
you.
That hasn't happened yet, right?
Nobody's complained about us.
Yes.
Okay.
We're trying to be nice to the staff. Actually.
No, that's good. That just
Well, I appreciate the donuts. Thank you.
yeah, no problem.
All right, they try to kill us with donuts, it looks like.
Did anybody eat those donuts?
No way. Hey, they could be can we test them?
Staff comes back. I'm giving it to them. Right. There's something about school in there, exactly. You gonna come out and offer donuts?
When that branch fell down, that was awesome.
That was like a sign from God, do not eat the donuts.
Like, yeah, don't eat those donuts.
It's okay, I need to find a verse about a broken branch.
I'm sorry.
No, dude, it's all in Revelation.
I was
the
telling you,
branch will
I
break.
literally, I was just thinking I was going, that branch and those leaves right around that area have got to come down because that sign is being blocked. Not that I care about the sign, but it was just a thought going through my head.
And so you made it happen?
I guess I did.
Telekinesis.
And then the donuts came, and it's like, okay.
Why would they bring us donuts? That's a little odd.
I don't know. Maybe they're from Kissinger. Maybe Kissinger told him we would look hungry out here, I guess.
Well, he was gorging his face. He's like, I'll spread the wealth.
Well, now the sign is completely down. They told me this is the actual line here, so we're going to respect that line. No trespassing, not a through road.
Did you get the branch as it was coming down?
I think it was, yeah, I was recording. I don't know how much of that I got. I'll have to check. Come our buddies.
I did earlier. I saw him come back earlier. He said that? Yeah, he had to come back. Yeah, he did. How was that? You were, I think we were talking at that time. And he just kind of drove right by. It was that, I think during that time when those one people were talking to us in the car when they came back around and wanted that information from North Carolina.
God is merciful, that's all I know. So they brought us donuts. One of them has
Hey, it's just a one-night stand.
jelly. I'm sure there's something in that jelly donut, if anything.
It's jelly.
And they're probably just laughing at us because now they want us to get all paranoid about the donuts. So there's probably nothing in it, but after the tree broke, I think that was a clear sign.
Number one rule of a Vietnam soldier: never take food from the locals. No matter how good that pho looks, don't take it. You're not supposed to take it.
Welcome.
What's the thing for? Pizza?
Maybe they had like pizza.
That's what he said, pizza.
What?
They had the Italian delegates, so what if...
So anyways, we're out here at Bohemian Grove by the gate and just chatting people up, you know, mostly staff. But one of these guys was coming up here from a walk, and turned out that he was from the Italian consulate here in San Francisco. So we were just talking to him about the Grove and about, you know, the people that attend, and turns out it was his first year. But then he gave us some information like it was his first year, and they wanted to have up to 6 delegations here at the Grove. So there possibly could be up to 6 national or foreign national delegations here this year.
Did he say why?
Well, he said he was here for a talk on Vladimir Putin.
Lakeside chat.
I think Lakeside Chat is.
It
Different?
could have been a lakeside chat, but it was literally a talk that was happening like at 11 o'clock in the morning.
Wow.
Because I don't know where it was in the Grove, but anyways, he was there for that specifically. And then he also mentioned something about how Putin is a little bit of a warring personality, which obviously makes sense, and he's a very volatile person. And what else? Anything else important about that encounter? I mean, he was just a nice guy, you know, but hopefully his mind is going to be totally changed when he leaves there. You know, I'm not sure he'll have access to talk to, but we did give him a magazine, just one of the latest InfoWars magazines this year.
Cool.
So, you know, maybe he'll read some stuff and maybe he'll learn what's going on. So
Did he seem happy about the talk?
well, he didn't know because he hadn't been here before, and so he was just arriving after he had a walk, but he was just arriving for his very first talk, it looks like.
These are the folks who are all benefiting from martial law.
Sure.
The use of force as he determined to be necessary.
So what do you think they're doing here?
What are they doing here? They're having their annual 10-day celebration of their mutual admiration society. I don't know how else to say it. I used to work here for years with my horses and carriage to take the body and the cremation of care. Tonight is a cremation of care presentation where they present a casket and have a big fire
And the effigy.
right. And I used to provide all that for years until I started till 9/11.
Then
And
you
I started handing out my literature, the truth about 9/11. They didn't want me around anymore.
Our presence will be felt by the Bohemian Grovers, and you know, anyone that you know decides to take it upon themselves to meet in secret and violate the Logan Act. You know, like we have the foreign consulate from Italy here, and I guess there's several other delegations that are from throughout the world coming here to meet with you know, high-level politicians and you know, company execs, where they meet in, you know, somewhat secret, is, you know, an act of subversion and pretty much treason as well against the United States. So
they can't talk about Putin. Just
you know, yeah, if they want to
make
talk
some
about Putin,
recommendations.
why aren't they doing it in the public's eye? You know, why do they need to go behind closed doors and talk bad about Putin? You know, I mean, I'm not trying to glorify Putin or anything that he's about, because, you know, he has an iron fist over the whole of Russia. You know, he's somewhat of their new dictator. But he is challenging the Illuminati power structure. One of the first things that, you know, the whole Ukrainian conflict started with was the Nazi separatists trying to, you know, take Ukraine into their power, and, you know, they received the aid from the West. You know, they got the money from the West to run their operations. So, you know, it's this gigantic game of chess, and this is one of the places where they meet in secret and decide what pawns are going to be moved, what bishops are going to be moved, what knights are going to go into action. Some of the knights that we see in action is Blackwater, Z, or Academy, or whatever you want to call them, and they're one of the chess pieces. And right now we see the conflict in Iraq with ISIS, And everybody that has a brain and knows history knows that ISIS was trained and funded by the United States CIA as an insurgency group in Iraq. So again, another created enemy that we're potentially going to have to reinvade Iraq to go fight. You know, it's just like the creation of Al-Qaeda in 1979 when Zbigniew Brzezinski met with bin Laden in Afghanistan and gave him the weapons and gave him the funding and gave him the power to you know, engage this jihad against Russia, who was occupying Afghanistan at the time. And that's one of the first examples of us creating this freedom force, quote unquote, these freedom fighters. Well, I guess in a sense they are freedom fighters because they're fighting against freedom, you know. So if you want to use some verbal gymnastics, maybe that's what they really meant. These people are fighting to eliminate freedom. They're not really fighting for freedom, they're really fighting against it. And as we've seen in with the events of 9/11, that boogeyman was, you know, paraded around, even though Dick Cheney is quoted as saying bin Laden had absolutely nothing to do with 9/11. The American people have been bamboozled into believing, because of Fox News, because of CNN, because of all the major, you know, networks, the controlled, government-controlled networks, you know, they continue to tote that line. So, you know, all these false flags and all these terrorist attacks, you know, there's definitely elements of Islam that are radical. Don't get me wrong, terrorists do exist, but when you have handlers and people that, you know, pretty much open the door for them and let them, you know, run amok and do whatever they want and give them the funding that they need, you know, it's becomes nefarious. And that's what, you know, hopefully with us coming here, we can try to bring some light on, is the you know, deals being made in the shadows, the smoky room deals, where, you know, you have the consulate of Italy here, and you have, you know, politicians and big industrial types here, you know, working together to create this one world corporate prison gulag, I guess you can call it, where, you know, it's a one world government, everyone's trading in SDRs. The one world currency is already here, you know, and not trying to get biblical, but that's one of the goals of the Illuminati and the elite, is to have this one world currency that they're all working hard on. So,
SDR?
Yeah, with the SDR, the special drawing rights.
It's come out more in this week, so.
Oh, they have?
There's more news on it. Yeah, just look it up.
Okay, yes, yeah, look it up, you know. And people look at me like a three-headed snake, you know, talking about these things because they've never heard of it. It was never on Fox Business. Fox and Friends didn't mention, you know, oh yeah, now we're going to switch over to an international currency known as the SDR, and the IMF is going to be the one handling it through the World Bank and the World Trade Organization. You know, you don't hear them talk about that. You know, they're constantly talking about how good the economy's getting and invest now because the stock market's going to hit 1,700 points and all this, you know, false hope of making it rich overnight with all their pump and dump scams like we've seen with Facebook being one of the IPOs where, you know, you had rampant insider trading going on, something that Martha Stewart was locked up for. Yet when, you know, Zuckerberg, a puppet of the CIA, many say, he engaged in insider trading and knew when to sell and when to keep. So gangster capitalism is what their game is. You know, they don't believe in the free market. They don't believe in the free market at all, because if they did believe in the free market, they would eliminate, you know, the Federal Reserve, you know, the monopoly, you know, main winner. You know, in the game of Monopoly, you know, the players don't win, the bank always wins, it never goes bankrupt. So yeah, hopefully, again, like I said, hopefully we could bring some more light to this.
And it sounds like at least they're talking about Putin here.
They're at least talking about Putin so far. That's what we know about.
Said one consulate.
Right, and we know, I mean, if you look at even this morning's paper talking about Israeli forces getting ready for some type of incursion or something like that, we know that they're obviously getting ready for some crazy war or something. I mean, it's pretty obvious with all the stuff that's going on. And then if you listen to, I was just listening to an economist, when was it, 2 days ago, Wednesday or something, Wednesday or Thursday? You know, he was mentioning, you know, talking about the stock market getting up to a little bit over 17,000. And then all of the indicators are showing that this is when you talk about the big collapses and everything. You know, not that we're going to go into road warrior or something like that soon, but a lot of people who invest a lot in the wrong markets are going to lose a lot of money. And it's happened many times before. Pump and dump, right. So it's happened many times before. There's nothing to suggest that it won't happen again, which means that it is going to happen. So, hey, you know, look, if you're an investor and you're looking into your money, I think the safe money goes into commodities, things you can actually hold tangible with your hand. What was this guy was talking about Warren Buffett, right? So Warren Buffett has actually gone out and bought a railroad, and he's bought oil refineries, a lot of stuff to do with oil and railroads. I haven't even researched all of the story yet, so go out and do some research into that, because think about it. If you have a railroad and you have oil refineries, you then have a pipeline to anywhere that railroad goes. So you don't need to build a pipeline, because you can make your own.
Well, yeah, that's to, well, here,
So.
let me just add in
Yeah, please.
what you're saying. With that big purchase and acquisition, and due to the massive protests against the Keystone Pipeline, the pipeline's irrelevant when you own the railroads. So if you own the railroads and the refineries, why build a pipeline when you could just, you know, have a mobile pipeline that is going to transport, you know, billions of gallons of your petrol, you know? So that's part of the control. And Henry Kissinger also said in, I think it was Memorandum 200, you control the nation's energy, you pretty much control the people. So if they have total control over the energy and resources of this country like that, you know, they have the power of shutting down power plants. They have the power of, you know, monopolizing on that type of industry. And as we've seen throughout history with Standard Oil, monopoly is their game. I mean, they call it, you know, you hear these people with Occupy, which I myself am involved with, they constantly say, you know, capitalism is bad and capitalism this. But in actuality, the capitalism that these industrialists are engaging in is monopoly capitalism.
Crony capitalism.
Crony capitalism, I guess you can say. I mean, one of the biggest capitalist nations in the world, and everyone calls it a communist regime, is China. China is a monopoly capitalist state where the government is all means of production, all means of transportation, all means of energy, and it's controlled by the inner party. So we have these industrialists like Warren Buffett who are heavily invested into energy and pretty much controlling the so-called green movement, which kind of just sold out to Al Gore and Richard, what's his name? Sir Richard Branson, I think his name is. And they're all involved in the carbon credit trading scheme. So, you know, in order to fully control your opposition, the best way to do that is to fund them. So that's nothing new, and we've seen that in the past. So, you know, hopefully by coming here, people always say, you know, you're wasting your time, it's pointless. I look at it like this: ABC is not here. CNN's not here, Fox News is not here. Someone has to be here from the American press, and the First Amendment grants the press to be all American citizens, and that's pretty much what we are doing here is acting as the press, where the corporate-controlled, government-controlled press will never venture off into, because, you know, when you look at who owns NBC, who owns Fox News, I mean, it's General Electric, it's the big corporations.
Well, now it's a
power
Comcast
structure.
with NBC.
Yeah, NBC is owned by GE, and then they have investors from, you know,
Hey, how's it going?
other companies like the Rand Corporation and all them. So, you know, it's this monopoly capitalism structure. So yeah, that's pretty much my take on what's going on.
Welcome to Bilderberg West. So other countries are already trading with each other outside of U.S. currency. Do you know why the gas is high? Do you know why your hamburger costs more, okay? Hamburger doesn't cost more because the cows got together and decided that they wanted to raise the price of meat. No.
Oh yeah, the farmers.
That's not what,
Yeah, the farmers didn't get together and create a monopoly and say, hey, we're gonna automatically raise the beef prices.
That's correct.
What basically happened was, like Sean was saying, the dollar. You know, the dollar is pretty much on its deathbed. And
I like to blame the cows. I think that's.
well, yeah, that's easier. That's an easier way out, to just blame the cattle. But in a sense, you know, the elite look at us as if we're the cattle, and as if we're the useless eaters to be preyed upon and used for, what I guess the term cash cow. You know, but fortunately for the world's sake, and not just our sake, but just the world in general, is that people are waking up to that fact. And the days of slavery have been here. Everyone thinks the Civil War ended slavery. We're all debt slaves now. We're all slaves to our mortgage. We're all slaves to our car payment. We're all slaves to whatever frivolous debts we have ran up. Credit card debt, student loan debt, whatever debt you have, you're pretty much, you know, indentured servant working to pay off that debt, minus, you know, signing your life to a contract of 7 years of labor on a farm in a plantation in Virginia. You know, they've gone beyond that. They've refined the methods of slavery to where there's an incentive. You know, you have the 2008 bubble where all these people bought houses that they couldn't afford, and by them signing the dotted line, they automatically gave their life to pay off that lifelong debt of, you know, 30-year mortgage at a fixed rate or adjustable rate mortgage or whatever. And a lot of them came to the people came to the realization that their house wasn't even worth as much as what it was refinanced for, what they purchased it for. So they're stuck holding the bag while the markets crashed and collapsed. And then we had the banker bailouts and the TARP bailouts in 2008, which pretty much bankrupted the country. I mean, the country was already going bankrupt prior to that. We're still paying off World War II debts. When World War II came around, the United States government, via the Federal Reserve, needed money to fund the war. There's a good movie, I believe it was either Letters from Iwo Jima or The Wind Talkers, where there's a scene in the movie where you have all these generals talking about, we're running out of money for the war. And in one of the conversations, they say, well, we'll just print more money and, you know, let the government take care of it, and, you know, we could fund the war forever. But the side effect of them doing that is we, the American people, through the strong arm of the IRS, are forced to pay interest, you know, pretty much the inflation tax through taxes. You know, we pay our money into taxes, the value of the currency goes down, and, you know, what a dollar bought 10 years ago today buys, you know, 50 cents worth, or even worse, 10% of that actual value of the dollar. That's why, you know, people, you know, they're starting to get it, but they look at me funny when I say, you know, don't save your money in the bank, go buy silver, go buy gold, go buy real money, something that's solid, that'll never lose value. And we're headed towards Zimbabwe scenario, where, you know, you have runaway inflation and a super high amount of stagflation, where the value of the currency goes down, and you have products and commodities just sitting on the shelf because no one can afford to buy them, or they're just scared to buy them. You know, no one wants to invest $5 million on an HP computer system like they did 10 years ago when they knew the water faucet was on and loans were being given out like candy. So we're coming to a critical point. Hopefully we will not go into World War III. A lot of the indicators are saying there's going to be a major conflict starting off in Ukraine.
If they're meeting about Putin, what do you...
They're going to be meeting about Putin this year. So, I mean, that to me is another indicator that, hey, you know, keep your guard up and do your best to you know, invest in things that are solid. You know, buy ammo, buy food, you know, buy gold and silver. I have an emergency supply of food. When I got laid off, that's what I ate. You know, and people say, oh, you're crazy, Manny, why are you stockpiling all this food? Well, if it wasn't for that stockpile of food that I had when I got laid off, I probably would have starved or been eating top ramen all day.
Guess what? I did the same thing.
Really?
Really?
I did.
We resorted to the emergency rations. I
We
mean,
mixed it in with the other food that we were buying, right? To extend it. So, you know, you can do like noodles. My pack included some really cool vitamins and also an orange drink.
Nice.
Non-GMO orange drink and everything.
Wow.
No high fructose corn syrup and stuff like that, right? So yeah, that emergency food comes in really handy. And
you know, you have a lot of patriots in the movement that are like, oh, I'm going to buy 6 years of food for, you know, SHTF scenario. Well, sometimes SHTF means you got laid off, you know, and you need food. So I'm trying to be as optimistic as possible. The elite, you know, there is a very strong chance that they'll collapse. you know, corruption breeds corruption. So, you know, you have all these elites at the table, you know, arguing amongst each other. And we've seen in the past, I believe it's so far been 6 months now, where you have all these elite bankers dying. Even a Rothschild was killed in his airplane. So something big's going on. There's something on the horizon. I'm not trying to sound like a doomsayer, because I'm very optimistic about, you know, the awakening that's happening. And as that awakening continues, you know, they're scared. It scares them to death. I mean, Zbigniew Brzezinski and Hillary Clinton both talked about, you know, the people being awake is one of the biggest threats to their whole operation and program. You know, Hillary Clinton is quoted as saying, we need to engage in an information war and attempt to pretty much win the hearts and minds of the people through propaganda.
And that's because they're losing that war,
and that's
right?
because they're losing that war, yeah. And she even said we're losing the war of information. So, you know, grassroots people like ourselves and you, the viewer out there, you know, the more we do, you know, many hands make the burden less of a burden. So, you know, you have us here. I know a lot of you out there are doing your own research and trying to figure out what's going on and make sense of it all. But the more of us that do it, the bigger of a threat it is to them. And don't ever think for yourself that, oh, I'm just little old me, what can I do? There's a lot that you can do. Because all it takes is 1 or 2 pawns to put a king in chess, to put a king in check in the game of chess. So if you want to call us pawns or whatever, we're one of the most powerful pieces on the chessboard, and the elite tend to ignore the pawns because they use us for their wars while they sit back as kings and queens watching the battles from afar. And we're in the trenches. You know, we're the ones that are paying, you know, $4 to $5 a gallon for gas every day. You know, they're not worried about that. We're the ones that work in the factories and in the warehouses and in the, you know, what's left of industrial America here. You know, so we see what's going on. Our jobs are being shipped to China. They're outsourcing work. They're using the illegal immigration influx as pretty much a cash cow for the 1%ers. The 1%, Walmart being one of the biggest donators to a lot of these illegal immigration groups. It just suits their needs. You know, you pay for people to support illegal immigration, and then you go around the back and hire them through temp agencies and hire them with IDs and social security numbers that they know are stolen, and they just turn the other way and, you know, hire these people. So this, you know, argument of, you know, hey, the illegals are not taking our jobs. Well, it's not that they're taking our jobs, it's that the corporations are selectively choosing them over citizens who know what's going on. So, you know, we're just engaging in this battle for, you know, waking people up in information. So hopefully, again, like I always say, I'm optimistic. Hopefully today we'll bring some light to what's going on.
Tell a story about a man who was a Mexican. Found out in reality he wasn't even 1%. Thought he was erased by the color of his Latin skin. Now he's just a man, not a product of the government. Your race, a product of the government. They say your face is copied by the government, and everything that you see will be digitized. It's tracked and traced by the eye in the big sky. They spread lies, but they don't know about the people who were planting seeds. Try to tell the truth about the killers of economies. I think about the present when I look at the past. I can't tell you what's in heaven or say where it's at, but I know that 9/11 was an inside job, and I know the day you give up is the day that you lost. So just sold to the devil, but it doesn't belong to the evil one who runs the world. Everything comes from the one who made the heaven and dimensions of earth, and made the first human being from his breath in the dirt. And all these products of the government to brainwash kids with false hopes and false morals, to make them forget about the things that really matter. At the end of the book, you got your silver gold platters, but you're only a crook. You didn't build that, you stole that, then you took credit. It'll be easy to forgive you, but they'll never forget it. So let me tell a story about a man who was a Mexican. Found out in reality he wasn't even 1%. Thought he was erased by the color of his Latin skin. Now he's just a man, not a product of the government. Your race, a product of the government. They say your face is copied by the government, and everything that you see eyes, cause it made me who I am. I'm sorry about the pain you had to go through as a kid. All this wishing on a star never got me into Mars. Relying on a dream only gave me fantasies. There's no easy road ahead. Every mountain that you climb is a battle to be won, but it's all a part of life. Every day I go to battle in the spiritual war. They call me sheep, they call me cattle, but I gotta ignore them. They can't defeat us, so they're making us defeat ourselves. They said survival of the fittest, it's survival of wealth. They want materialistic problems, it takes center stage, and everyone who don't agree is just a rat in a cage. But I was born a human being, and that's how I will leave. Put on this earth for a reason, and it's not to deceive. And all these government lies, they disguise all the treason. They always get caught, cause nobody believes them. Let me tell a story about a man who was a Mexican. Found out in reality, he wasn't even 1%. Thought he was a race by the color of his Latin skin. Now he's just a man, not a product of the government. Your race, a product of the government. They say your face is copied by the government, and everything that you see will be digitized, tracked and traced by the eye on the lake sky. So long ago, still yesterday. Woke up, I was thinking about the price we paid. Got our fake freedom like a sacrifice. Don't talk about the government, cause that ain't nice. People getting tortured still. Found another war on Capitol Hill. Raised the debt, created Osama. Killed another patsy, gave us Obama. Where do we go from here? Turning off the news, there's feels like I've been waiting so long. Every time that I fall, every time that I won't be unbreakable. Every time my goal slips out my hand, pick it back up and fall again. Add a scar on tainted skin, another day that I don't win. Starting over from the bottom, truth is lost, but someone's got them locked inside a box of lies. Box of Bradle for the eyes, box of candy for the weak, and a suitcase for the more deceived. Let me tell a story about a man who was a Mexican. Found out in reality, he wasn't even 1%. Thought he was a race by the color of his Latin skin. Now he's just a man, not a product of the government. Your race, a product of the government. They say your face is copied by the government, and everything that you see will be digitized, tracked and traced by the eye in the big sky.
Look at the advertisements as well. Okay. I actually buy a lot of that stuff myself. Water filtration and super male vitality. Basically just serves as vitamins and stuff.
Okay.
It's got some good articles too about Google Glass and stuff like that.
Sneaky guy. What a sneaky guy.
Very sneaky.
We're very sneaky.
Good. So this will be on YouTube undoubtedly.
I don't know.
Yeah, he's
Got anything newsworthy?
Most of the stuff that I record, actually, I don't put on YouTube. I just usually use it for for my notes and stuff, so that I can post blog stuff like that.
Okay, guys. You guys know what the drill is and the ground rules and
Don't go in.
yeah, and everything else.
We were here last year also. So
Yeah, you got first, second, third. I guess you guys got all the amendments. I think under protection. as
Oh,
we all
good.
do.
I have not seen anybody here other than professionalism and just guys chatting. So
Perfect. Okay. Well.
we've talked to the sheriff last year. Are you with the internal security here?
Yes,
or-
we are.
Okay.
So anyway, that's good. Please don't hassle. We'd appreciate if you wouldn't hassle the members or any of the guests.
I wave at them
The
and I
employees.
say some things. I say hello, and
No,
I'm
that's-
cordial
you-
to
I mean, you
your
have First Amendment,
to your
Second
staff
Amendment rights.
members coming in.
The
I've even
staff
given them some
members
water.
The staff members are really important.
Absolutely.
Because they're just kids.
I personally would never harass. So that's not
Okay.
that's not
Well,
what I'm
thank you
about.
very
Why do
much.
you keep
Appreciate it.
saying Second Amendment rights?
I mean, oh, that's right. I'm
curious.
sorry, you guys aren't. Well, you might.
We're not going to come here with
No,
guns.
no,
Are you?
that's right. I forgot.
Are you
Second. I was
asking
thinking.
us?
No.
Okay.
But yeah, but you know, it's a funny thing. Everybody has all those rights. You know,
Well, not anymore. California took our Second Amendment
we're not
rights
getting
away.
into that.
Have a good one, gentlemen.
Thank you.